Hello everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. Today I thought I would give an update on my Hobonichi cousin and how I have been trying to use it the past few weeks. I think ever since I started my pocket rings, I've kind of neglected her on the channel a little bit, and so I thought I would show you guys how I've been doing some tests in here and really just a lot of ugly planning and ugly experiments to, I don't know, test things out for 2026 and how I might want to approach journaling for the new year. I also want to give a big thank you and a big shout out to Analuisany for sponsoring today's video. I am always wearing their rings 99% of the time. If you see me wearing rings in my videos, they are from Analuisany, so I will talk about them a little bit later in the video, but just want to give a huge shout out to them. But anyways, we're going to get into the book. Now that I am looking at my nails with my cover, it's giving very Christmas, and that's not my intention, but I love that it's a little festive for today's video. Historically, when I have used the Hobonichi cousin, I have tried to use it as an all-in-one planner and journal, work notebook, all of the things. And I moved into this guy at the end of July with that intention to have it be my everything book. That's what it's been for me in the past, and it's always worked out, I would say, pretty well. I just had a lot of life changes this year. I got a new job, I moved into a new house, we recently got a puppy, and I actually had a surrogate baby for another family. And so I have had so many life changes in 2025, and that has really reflected itself in this book, I think. And this is only, the end of July to December, and I think if you've been a long-time viewer of my channel, you've probably seen all the planner and journal hopping that I have done this year, and I think that's really just a reflection of all the changes in my life, and planner hopping gives me a sense of control, but it also helps me navigate those new challenges or new routines that I'm experiencing. So I think this book kind of reflects that energy because it's a little all over the place. I have not touched my monthly calendars probably since, September. I have not been upkeeping my planning in here or anything like that. So these are all still the same from what you guys have seen in the past. I'll flip through my weekly pages really quickly just in case you're new, but I was using these for daily logging. I have tried to make the weekly pages really functional and productive, like with my to-do list. And so I was using sticky notes for my tasks and to-dos for the week. And then once I was done with those sticky notes, I moved them to the back. So these pages really are just a lot of daily logging and I would say a very high overview memory keeping in a sense. And I really enjoyed this when I was doing this. I think the thing that I struggled with the most was the to-do list. Something about the vertical weekly, I really just cannot click when it comes to my to-dos and more of the planning aspect of my routine. I have been really struggling with that this year when it comes to the vertical weekly. And so you see, I've done a few experiments, and the layouts in here change a little bit from week to week because I was really just trying to figure it out. And then as September progresses, you see that I slowly start to fall off a little bit. And I think a large part of that was my job, and this just wasn't really bringing me a lot of joy. And then towards the end of September, this week, is when I actually moved into my pocket rings for all of my to-dos and functional bits. And that clicked so well that I really just stopped coming in here. And it wasn't for lack of effort. I did come back and try and do my daily logging, maybe a little bit of brain dump or journaling in here, but I just was not clicking with it no matter how hard I tried to come back in here. And so a lot of these weeks are empty. And I also had a lot of work trips. I had 3 work trips in 1 month. And so I wasn't even really home a lot, and I think that also affected this. And then this is my new weekly, and before we get into this, I just want to talk about today's sponsor. If you guys know me, you know I love my jewelry and I love my rings, and I'm always wearing them in my videos, but also just in my everyday life. They were kind enough to send me these 2 new pieces for this campaign. The first one is this ring right here, which I actually have in the white colorway, and I loved it so much that I wanted to get it in the black because I thought the black really popped, but it's this really pretty gold star in the center of this like black rounded square. And I think it's so cute. Second ring that I got is this tri-tiered like wrap ring. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about this. I thought it would maybe be a little uncomfortable and a little bit stiff. Surprisingly, it feels really, really comfortable on the hand. And I'm someone who likes the look of like a lot of hardware on your hands, but not the feeling of it. I like to lift in my rings. I shower in my pieces. Like, I treat my rings really bad, to be honest. And so I can never really do big, bulky rings, but I really like the look of it. And so I thought that this one would be a nice way to play into that, but not have the bulkiness. I think it's my new favorite one. Like, I think I will be wearing this in every single video now. It's just so cute. Those are the two pieces that I got. I highly recommend checking out Ana Luisa if you are in the market for jewelry for yourself or maybe for a loved one for Christmas. You guys know how much I love these pieces and how much I gush about them. And if you are in the market for some new jewelry, I think their Black Friday deals is the time to go and check out their website and see if anything really calls to you. Everything is up to 30% off. And then you also get a free piece of jewelry when you spend $130. If you guys are in the market, definitely check them out. There's a link in my description. It helps support me and the channel, and it lets Ana Luisa know that I sent you their way. Thank you so much, Ana Luisa, for sending me these pieces. I'm so grateful to you guys and so appreciative for your support. All right, back to the video. When we get into these new weeklies, they look a bit different, and I am kind of purposely making them look ugly, mainly because I am testing and trialing some things. I wanted to continue doing some sort of memory keeping, daily logging, archiving in some sort of book, because I have been doing it in my rings, but rings are not necessarily something that's easy to like look back on. Like when I look back on these pages that I archive, they're kind of messy, and I do that on purpose. And so it's a little harder, I think, to see those high level memories and, you know, little moments that I want to capture and maybe look back on. And so I thought that I could initially write them down in my pocket rings and then transfer them over to my Hobonichi cousin or whatever journal that I am currently in, just so I can see it all in one glance. Kind of like an archive book, nothing new, but I'm just trying to figure out how to make these two books work in tandem together. What I have been doing is on my weekly pages, I have a blank grid page that I keep on the left every week, and then all of my planning and functional stuff goes here on the right. So for the past couple of weeks, what I've been doing is writing in a Monday through Sunday just as the week goes on. And at the end of the week, I have been doing what I call a weekly download. And I basically just take all this information and I throw it onto this weekly spread here, and then I just sticker bomb it. I have a lot of stickers that are in my TN that I would like to use up, but I have realized that I'm not a sticker girly. I can't use stickers most of the time when it comes to my planning, but I have all these stickers and I would like to use them. So I thought that in these weekly pages I could just sticker bomb them, and they're not really cohesive or pretty. I thought it would be a way to use up my stickers and also just add something to the page, because if I just have my daily logs in here, it's kind of sparse and sporadic. So that's how I have been doing my weekly logging. Nothing super, I don't know, super crazy or groundbreaking. This week I tried a more broad pen, which is the Tombow Fudonosuke, and I don't love how this looks. It is a little chaotic and messy and crazy, but the goal isn't to have it look super aesthetic. It's basically just to throw something on a page and see what sticks. I think that's something that I have always tried to champion on my channel, is to just, you know, try things for the sake of trying them, and to not be afraid of making things, you know, not super aesthetically pleasing or pretty, like really just using your book to throw your brain on paper and see what comes out of it and what you like. So that's my intention with this. I tried a couple different things, and I think the thing that's tripping me up the most is the vertical weekly. So I think for this next week, for Thanksgiving week, I'm going to try and push outside the columns again and see how I like that. Those are what the weekly pages look like. And then when it comes to the daily pages, I have kind of flipped purposes. We'll quickly go through these, but a majority of my daily pages were work notes, some artwork, brain dumping, and a little bit of just like light journaling, and just kind of whatever, like personal notes that I wanted to write down that day. So it's a little bit of everything. It's kind of a mess, and I really like the feel of it and the look of it. I like that it's not super pretty, and it really just functions as a notebook. And when I was doing this, I made it a rule not to put any stickers or ephemera in here because I am someone who really likes the feel of a notebook when it is just like pen and ink. And I think when I have stickers or like really thick ephemera on some of the pages, to me, they feel like scabs, and I know that's a very niche feeling to have, but it doesn't make me want to use my book when it just like feels crunchy, if that makes any sense. And so I made a rule for myself to only put in, like drawings if I wanted something visual or artwork. And that was a really good rule that I made for myself, and it really made me break out of the box of having to rely on stickers for the visual element or the visual aesthetics of my book. And I really like how it turned out, and I do love flipping through these. You can see that I got a lot of use out of this. And as we get further into September, it just really started to not function for me work-wise. I was using this as a work planner, and I have had, to be honest with everyone, I have had a harder transition moving into this new job. It has just been a lot of learning, and I thought that the big space of the A5 would benefit me in that way because I would have all the space in the world to write down all the notes and all the things. But I think that has kind of been to my detriment because there's no sense of organizing anything really in here because it is just me throwing everything into a page. So I've always been someone who has wanted personal and work together in one book, but with this new job, I've just realized that is not feasible right now at least, and maybe in the future it will be, but as I'm in this learning and, growing phase of my new job, I have since taken my work out of this book, and I think that has really benefited me. I have not been super present in these back pages, and I recently finished my Traveler's Notebook journal, and this is where I keep all of my ephemera, stickers, photos, like the crunchy things. So I have pretty much finished this journal. I have a couple flip throughs on my channel if you're interested. It's definitely a little bit more aesthetic and definitely very ephemera heavy in here. But as I started to get to the back of this book, it just became really hard to write in here. And so I have since stopped journaling in here. And I thought that since I'm done journaling in here with all the ephemera and such, I could just move that back into my cousin. I'm not using this as an everyday book or everyday carry. It's really just sitting on my desk at home. So I thought that I could transition this into my journal. So its purposes kind of flip-flopped with each other. So I think these were probably the last pages I shared on my channel. And then after that, I have just started adding in all the things. It's a little more ephemera heavy and not as like sticker heavy back here. I've just done some high level journaling, some like big memories in here. I got a work weeks. That's this guy right here, if you saw it. Because I took work out of here, I was originally planning on using the TN size sterling ink notebook, which is actually downstairs. I'm sorry I don't have it. And I unfortunately got one with bad paper. I had set up a couple weeks because I wanted to move into it early, mainly just to use it for my job. And the paper was really bad, which really bums me out. It was just taking like so long for things to dry down. And so it was just smearing all over the pages. And that was just with my normal gel pens and like a normal highlighter. And it drove me crazy after only like 2 days. So that sterling ink has since become a sketchbook for my kids. Unfortunately, it is just not going to be my work planner for next year, which kind of bums me out, but I ended up pivoting to the Hobonichi weeks, and I think moving down to this smaller size actually helped me in the long run because, like I was mentioning earlier, throwing a bunch of information in a big A5 size makes it hard for me to organize things, and I think moving down to something smaller really helps me consolidate information in a way that's easy for me to find, which I really need for my job. So I ended up setting up 2 weeks in the back note pages. This is the Hobonichi Weeks Mega in the like dark blue color. I went in and put these little silver stars on it. These are stickers that I just got from Amazon. I work for the Olympic and Paralympic movement, so we're very patriotic. Stars and stripes are kind of our thing, so I thought it'd be cute to make it a little decorative, but still professional. So that is the cover at least, but I came back here and I set up 2 weeks just so I could start using it, and it has been working really well for my work so far. And then I've been using the note pages back here. I still have some indexing and other setups that I would like to do in here, which I'll probably do over this Thanksgiving break. But I have since moved into the weeks for work, and that is a pivot that I was not anticipating for myself, but has come out positively. So that's what this journal spread was. Sorry, that was like a big tangent, but I did get a work weeks. And yeah, so it's just a little bit high level journaling back here, but I also don't want to make it super aesthetic. I still want to be a little bit messy with it because I like that lived in feel. This was a painting my daughter did that she called A Beautiful Day. And I was like, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Let me put it in my journal. This is some pen pal mail that I got from Elaine and Jenna. Shout out to Elaine and Jenna. If you guys are interested in being pen pals with me or mailing me things or, you know, getting stickers from me, I do have my P.O. box listed in my channel bio and my description. So if you're interested in that, the address is in there. But yeah, just adding, you know, some more ephemera bits, not making it super journal heavy. Like I'm not doing a lot of writing in here. It's more so just collecting things. These are my 2026 inserts that I've been making, which I think is going to be my next video, but I will show you really quick because I am so smitten with these. I'm working on my trackers right now, and I think the only layouts I'm actually going to make are the monthlies. I'm not going to make weekly and daily layouts, but I've been making these monthlies and I love them so much. I think they turned out so freaking cute. And surprisingly, I really like the no grid in the monthly calendar. I think it makes it look less busy, and I'm obsessed. So anyways, I put those pages in there just to, I don't know, capture that digital art that I was making. And then I think this was the last journaling page that I have in here. I have had some slight changes in opinion for the new year, which I hate doing because I know I posted my 2026 lineup video, but I have had some slight thoughts, which is fine, and I'm excited for them. It's basically all I've done. So really just when there is something that happens that I think I would like to memory keep or store for later, I have been putting it in my cousin, and then I have been just, you know, downloading those weekly logs back here, and so far so good. I only have a month left in this Avec, and I did not purchase a 2026 Avec. I do have the 2025 one that I was planning on using, but if I don't end up going that route for 2026, I feel like it's kind of no harm no foul because I didn't buy a 2026 cousin. So I'm thinking about maybe using something else as my journal for the new year, but we will see. But that has been how I've used my cousin the past few weeks. It's not super aesthetic and it's not super like trendy and cool, but if anything, I hope you can take away from this video that it doesn't need to be pretty and you can really just play for the sake of play and see what comes out of it and what you end up liking or not liking. And that's totally fine. Like you don't need to have one cohesive, totally perfect book. Your book can change, you know, as you change, and that's totally fine. So that's all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It might be the last time I show my cousin this year on the channel. We will see. We'll see how many pages I end up filling out in December. So that is the end of this video. I want to give a huge thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring and gifting me these 2 pieces today. Definitely go check out their website. They also have really cute charms, and I'm like this close to buying a charm to add on to my planner. I think their charms are so cute. They have a croissant one that I'm obsessed with. Definitely go check them out. The link is in my description below. Thank you guys so much for being here and for supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.